It's a big day, probably the biggest day for rallies in West Bengal between the Prime Minister Amit Shah and Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee. But the story dominating the headlines there is a comment from BJP State Chief Dilip Ghosh, who has said that more Cooch Behar-like killings may happen in the next phase of assembly elections if, quote-unquote, naughty boys like the ones who died in Sitalkuchi try to take the law into their own hands. Naughty boys. The Trinamool has written a letter to the Election Commission and has also slammed Dilip Ghosh for his comments, demanding his arrest, saying that this is a clear and violent provocation by the BJP leader. Dilip Ghosh's comments come after 4 people lost their lives as CISF security personnel opened fire after some persons reportedly attempted to snatch their rifles and attack them while voting was underway in Cooch Behar's Sitalkuchi constituency on April the 10th. That was the 4th phase of elections.
এত দুষ্টু ছেলে কোথা থেকে এলো? ওই দুষ্টু ছেলেটা কালকে গুলি খেয়েছে কুচ বিহারের শীতলকুচিতে। এই দুষ্টু ছেলেটা থাকবে না বাংলায়। সবে শুরু হয়েছে। যারা ভেবেছে সেন্ট্রাল ফোর্স মানে বন্দুকটা দেখাবার জন্য নিয়ে এসেছে, তারা বুঝেছে ওর গুলির গরম কিরকম। আর এটা সারা বাংলায় হবে। যদি কেউ আইন হাতে নিতে আসে, তাকে যোগ্য জবাব দেওয়া হবে। দিদিমণি গণতন্ত্রকে ভয় পাচ্ছেন, জনগণের রায়কে ভয় পাচ্ছেন, তাই ভয় দেখে রাজনীতি করার চেষ্টা করছেন, ইলেকশন কমিশনকে অ্যাটাক করছেন। সেদিন চলে গেছে, মানুষ সমস্ত ভয়কে উপেক্ষা করে সকাল থেকে লাইনে দাঁড়িয়ে ভোট দিয়েছেন। আমি আশা করব 17 তারিখ সেই দিন আসছে যেদিন আপনারা সকালবেলা গিয়ে লাইনে দাঁড়িয়ে ভোট দিন। সেন্ট্রাল ফোর্স বুথে থাকবে, কেউ লাল চোখে দেখাতে পারবে না। তাহলে আমরা আজ যদি বাড়াবাড়ি করে শীতলকুচি দেখেছেন কি হয়েছে, জায়গায় জায়গায় শীতলকুচি হবে।
And while there is politics over what Dilip Ghosh said with that clear provocation, the Prime Minister and Home Minister also touched upon the violent incidents that took place. Here's what they said at rallies today.
TMC का मार्ग रहा है, मां को सताओ, माटी को लूटो, मानुष का रक्त बहाओ। भाई और बहनों, कुछ बिहार में 2 दिन पहले जिन लोगों की मृत्यु हुई वो भी किसी मां के ही बेटे थे, लेकिन ममता दीदी की नीतियों ने कितनी ही माओं से उनके बेटे छीन लिए हैं। दीदी के मां माटी मानुष की यही असलियत है।
इसी शीतलकुची सीट पर ममता दीदी ने कुछ ही दिन पहले भाषण किया था कि सीआईएफएस सीएपीएफ वाले आए तो उनको घेर लो, उन पर हमला करो। मैं पूछना चाहता हूं ममता दीदी को, एक शार्प सवाल पूछना चाहता हूं कि क्या आपका वो भाषण वो 4 लोगों के मृत्यु के लिए जिम्मेदार नहीं है क्या? अगर आप वो भाषण न करती कि 4 युवा सीआरपीएफ पर हमला करने का हिम्मत करते क्या? आपने उनको उकसाकर एक गोलीबारी का कारण दिया है।
Let's go straight into our political face-off. Nikhil Prasoon of the BJP with me, Riju Datta, spokesperson of the Trinamool Congress. Nikhil Prasoon, to you first. The comment made by Dilip Ghosh is quite clearly provocative in this current atmosphere, and it is being seen as provocative. The Trinamool Congress has gone to the Election Commission complaining, saying that Dilip Ghosh should be arrested. Very clearly he has said that if there are more naughty boys or naughty boy behavior, then more Sitalkuchi type incidents may happen. And this is being interpreted as a clear threat of violence. Does the BJP endorse that statement, or how would you clarify?
Well, there have been series of egregious comments attributable to the Honorable Chief Minister in last few days. And there is no iota of penitence on her part or her administration for that matter. And one such incident, one such comment, it led to provocation, and 4 innocent lives were lost simply because they were instigated to inflict violence on our brave CISF people, and they had to fire to save their lives. Now, I think this is utter shamelessness on the part of state administration as well as the TMC, that they are, objecting to what has been said by our Honorable State Chief, Mr. Dilip Ghosh. It's like, pot calling the kettle black. You have been involved neck deep in this process of instigation and provocation right from the word go.
But isn't this also instigation, Mr. Prasoon? I will demand an answer from the Trinamool also on the point that you've made, which I accept. There was instigation before that, which we've covered. But this comment in an atmosphere after those killings, isn't Mr. Ghosh's comment also provocative, sir?
No, if the comment is analyzed literally, what did he say? That if there is any such provocation, for example, if we mean that if there is any such incident where CISF or any CSF personnel is attacked, where the people are gheraued, or where the normal voting process is obstructed to by the TMC goons or by anyone else for that matter, it has to be dealt with severely, the way it was dealt with in Sitalkuchi. So what is objectionable about it? Whenever there is an infringement of law and order, it has to be dealt with sternly.
Okay, Riju.
What he has rephrased.
Riju, the BJP is not distancing itself. The BJP says that there is nothing wrong with what Dilip Ghosh said. He basically was saying that, if politicians instigate locals and youth into attacking security forces, this is going to be the inevitable outcome. There is nothing provocative about it, says the BJP. You reply on that, and then I will ask you another question on the original instigation. Yes, Riju.
Shiv, you have heard what the BJP spokesperson have said, that if there is any kind of chaos or ruckus during voting, Sitalkuchi incidents will happen. They are trying to justify murder. And obviously, what else they can say? The top bosses of BJP who are campaigning here, their white kurtas are littered with the blood of the innocents from Godhra to Delhi. So obviously that will percolate to these lower level cadres also. It is quite obvious. And it is not just Dilip Ghosh, Shiv. It is also the ex-BJP state president Rahul Sinha who said, and I quote, "Why did they shoot and kill 4? They should have killed 8. And there is another senior leader, Shayandon Bosu, who said after this incident, in the next remaining 4 phases, there will be 16 Sitalkuchis. Can you imagine, Shiv? Can you imagine? These are the statements of BJP top leaders.
Okay.
They are justifying murder, they are justifying violence, and let me call what happened in Sitalkuchi. It was nothing. It was a blatant murder, a genocide by the Central Armed Forces in broad daylight under the instructions of the Home Minister of this country to intimidate the people of Bengal.
I just want to say that words like, I know that the atmosphere is extremely tense in Bengal. There are many things being said, very provocative statements like the ones you just quoted, Riju. But, words like genocide are not going to help. Genocide has a very specific meaning that doesn't apply here. Let me just categorically say. But coming back to you, Nikhil Prasoon, the Trinamool is saying that the BJP is justifying murder and justifying violence and basically issuing a threat that more such incidents should happen. In fact, more such incidents should happen is what the Trinamool is accusing you of. How would you respond to that?
Well, there has to be a deterrent. And if these statements should be construed in the light of the fact that if these hooligans or these anti-social elements, if they try to instigate violence, if they try to snatch, rifles from the CISF person, if they try to attack them, what are they going to do? They are going to be met with the same fate because of the fact that otherwise, if they don't do so, if they can't protect themselves, how will they protect the country? So this is imperative. It should be construed in that
light. Let me finish, I'll come to you.
So the voters have to be given confidence. After all, they have come here to instill, confidence amongst the people so that, the law and order can prevail and they can vote peacefully without having any trepidation.
I want to show you and I want to show our viewers because Riju, both Amit Shah and the Prime Minister today have basically said, in a roundabout way that it was basically Mamta Banerjee who is responsible for these people's deaths because she was the one who instigated them to gherao the security forces and to surround them and to attack them and not let them do their job. I want to play out for our viewers because this is not my opinion. Here's what Mamta Banerjee said a day before polling in the 4th phase. Here's what she said.
সিআরপিএফ যদি গন্ডগোল করে আমি আপনাদের মেয়েদের বলে দিচ্ছি আপনারা ওদের ঘেরাও করে রাখবেন একদল আর একদল ভোট দিতে যাবেন একদল ঘেরাও করবেন একদল ভোট দিতে যাবেন
You know, accusing Mamata Banerjee of being responsible for the deaths is one thing, but this is clearly an instigation also, Riju. In this atmosphere where things are already vitiated, people's tempers are already high, this can easily be interpreted as instigation of locals against the CRPF. That's what the BJP is also saying.
Shiv, I'll tell you, and I choose my words very carefully. I have utmost respect for the chair of the Prime Minister and the Home Minister of this country. But the two people who are sitting on those chairs, I have lost all respect, because all they are doing is peddling lies and spreading a false hate narrative throughout this state. Mamata Banerjee, let me tell you, the word gherao itself, you ask anybody from the left, from the Congress, it means a protest. If the people, the Jawans, and I have been on your show where we have given 1900 letters, 6, and especially against the armed forces, 6 in the first place, 13 in the second place, 134 in the third place, that they are coercing and manhandling our voters not to vote for TMC. What action has the EC taken?
Okay.
They are silent spectators. Now, Mamata Banerjee said, we believe in silent protest if they are not allowing us to give our right to vote. And let me tell you one thing, the Election Commission stated, which is now called as the Extremely Compromised Commission, that we are doing 8-phase polls because there is too much violence in West Bengal.
I'm out of...
What has happened?
These
What has happened? There is so much violence. Then what is this drama of 8 phases?
If you keep on attacking constitutional institutions, I think these things are not going to help.
I'm out of time. Nikhil Prasoon and Riju Datta, I'm out of time. But all I can say now is that the specific claims being made about what happened in Cooch Behar, hopefully, will not need to be made for very long, because there is an investigation currently on. There are only a few weeks left for polling in the state of West Bengal. But the truth must be known. The politics will continue as far as these incidents are concerned. Thank you very much for joining me on this quick face-off here on 5 Live. That's it on today's show. I'll see you at the same time tomorrow.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.